with us at the Success Club of, it's located at the ITT Tech campus in Wyoming, Michigan. We're not an affiliated club as per the rules for ITT Tech, but we're providing this as an opportunity for us and those that are not a part of Success Club, but to be better at being successful. And today I'm creating, or I've created a play-by-play of how to effectively study for tests and exams, and it comes from a source that I found on the internet. It's W.D. Johnson, and I don't know what she has, but she's somehow affiliated with Cornell University, where a certain gentleman, as early as the 1950s, Walter Pauk, had come up with an effective way to study. And so I'm coming from her distillation of this guy's work, and it's cited further down the line. So we start from here, and first of all, it's one of 9. This is one of 9 study habits that she got from Mr. Pauk, and it's being an active learner in class. You participate in discussions, ask questions, take thorough notes, and just plain jot down as much as possible to keep yourself awake and your mind actively engaged, and that's during the time that you're in class and the time that you're being instructed. And all I'm saying is, at the bottom, I'm just adding my emphasis to say, start becoming an active learner now, because of course I'm asking you to do just that first study habit by, taking some notes maybe of this very lecture you're listening to right now. Number 2, I said make it stick. And that means reinforce the new material and improve your academic recall by reviewing lecture notes each night after class and revisiting previous reading assignments before moving on to new ones, which makes a lot of sense. And again, that means don't wait for exam week to begin your review. Make it stick. That's my way of looking at this. There were other numbers on that slide that are important. But for you watching YouTube, stop back at this. This is where Cornell University professor has been quoted by W.D. Johnson to say how many hours it takes, not very long, to lose a large percentage of what you've learned. All right, now to the next slide, where I said, study your study and place of study. Now that sounds kind of strange, but when you keep a steady pace in anything you do, including your study space, it's a way of being consistent, distraction-free, and of course it's got to be well lit, because if you keep the television off, the internet out of reach, the phone silent, and all this other stuff that distracts you or does whatever, and if you keep your place of study the same place time and again, it will condition your mind to associate that spot with getting down to business. And as I said here, this exclusive time and location will condition the mind, and I say the body as well, to get down to the business of studying. So our next step is number 4, and I said there's 9 steps altogether. This is the 4th. This is halfway through, and it's what Regina May says here. And Walter Pauk had said this: break large tasks down into smaller mini tasks, and you complete those in half-hour to hour increments. And Mr. Pauk said, when you do it every half hour, take a 5-minute break. Every hour studying, take a 10-minute break. But try to keep those things in mind as to how you allow yourself time to study, time to take a break, but don't extend your breaks over a certain time, because then it's not studying anymore. It's break time. No, you can't do that. Anyway, so number 5 is, again, doing some active studying. When you're outside of class, now you're in the study mode, make sure that you do some things to, memorize, not just for short-term recall, but to understand the long-term. Think critically, visually as you read your studies, your homework, and then synthesize that with concepts that are familiar to you. Kind of make those things that you are learning to say, hey, this sounds like something similar to what I've learned already, and so on and so forth. It makes what I say putting familiar context to what you've already learn, and it makes those facts easier to recall, because that's what we're doing when we're taking tests. We want to recall information and be able to best do that and do it you know, to answer the questions as thoroughly as possible. Next is sharing your knowledge. This is what we talked earlier before we started this lecture today, is studying or joining a study group, maybe not a group, but join another person, and then enlighten anyone else who will listen if they don't want to commit to being a study group or a study buddy type person. The other person that's listening to you can allow you to talk out loud and go, hey, that doesn't sound right. So that's what it is. We're trying to help each other, try to get people to understand things more clearly by joining in studying, or allowing somebody to kind of tell you where you might need to learn things the right way, or learn things even better than you are already. And this is something that should be a give and take. As I said, sharing is caring, so it should be a give and take. For either way, you're the one who needs it or the one who could use your help. All right, and this next one is quite something. It does have something to do as a part of what we're doing when it comes to learning better, is considering about what we eat. I'm on the wrong part here. Okay, it's snacking smart. It's something that I'm not doing right, so it's not something that we're, you know, that we haven't done ourselves. Mr. Polk says that soda, caffeine, sweets, and fast foods tend to just bring your sugar levels up too high, and then once those are gone, boom, you're out of it. And so the best thing to do, as one of our Success Club members had said, our vice president had said, hey, get out those fruits, the raw vegetables, peanuts, and some similar items like that, because snacking smart is being smart. So our next agenda item, which is number 8 of 9, this is something that is just all what is right there. You just keep your study schedule, especially during the week before exams, that you review those topics that you need to review, and make certain that you get back with your instructor or read up what it is what your instructor has said in the syllabus to pinpoint what it is, what are those set topics that you need to apply yourself, so that you're not studying more than what you need to study or not enough. Make sure it's what you can find out from the syllabus, what it is what your instructor is saying is going to be on that particular exam. And then finally, developing methods of study that work for you. There are people here who do some of these things and do it quite well. Rewriting notes, creating flashcards. You can do that during class, like formulas for math classes and things like that, and then review those later. Draft some study questions. Or sometimes when you're in classes like we have here, there are study questions. Sometimes when you're writing your homework out, write out the question and then answer the question, so that you can use those notes or those homework assignments to study later, so that you know what the answer was to what question. So if you put the question and answer together in your homework, you can use those homework assignments, completed homework assignments, as a way to study for exams. Also, quiz yourself. I don't know what, you can pretty much gather what it is, whatever you want to do, and how to carry that out. But all in all, it's doing what you can to keep your mind actively engaged while you're doing your studying especially for an exam. And finally, I believe the next is just what I had to do to share with you what Cornell has done as to showing how to take notes. This would be on an 8.5 by 11 normal type of paper. You wouldn't necessarily do this, but in place of the title of the page that I have here, called the Cornell note-taking process, you would, in that place, put something else. Note-taking is recording, for one thing. So in this place where you have your note-taking would be what is doing recording. You're your notes of what it is during the lecture. You would record the lecture using telegraphic sentences, like short and sweet, just little outlining type things. The next thing you do is questions. As soon as after class is possible, formulate questions based on those notes in the right-hand column. Then reciting, that involves covering the note-taking column with a sheet of paper, look at the questions or cue words that you put in here to say aloud in your own words the answers to the questions, facts, or ideas indicated by the cue words. So in case you wonder what recite means, put it in your note-taking column, but maybe tell yourself that that's where you want to be able to cover what you've recorded in the questions and try to answer the questions soon after you've taken your class. And then reflect is a reflection on what it is, what you've done. And reviewing is spending at least 10 minutes every week reviewing all of your previous notes. And if you do, you'll retain a great deal for current use as well as for the exam. As I told you, that you should not wait until the very day before to study for the exam. And then in summary at the bottom, this is where you do it right after class. You summarize what it is, what those notes that you've put on this page, what they pretty much represent. And in conclusion, all I've got is where you can find what it is, what I have done to give you this lecture today. This particular person, a woman, put this at where I show here. It's at ehow.com, and the website, all you have to do is put into that website or into Google is the title, How to Study Effectively for Tests and Exams, and it's a very good outline, and it's her, the author of this lecture that I've given you, is based on what she has done to outline what a gentleman named Walter Pauk out of Cornell University had done. A lot of these things to show how it is, how you can effectively study for, as it says, tests and exams. That's something that's very important that we all learn to do and get over that test anxiety. And that's it. And thank you for listening, for your time.